Well, hello, and welcome back to the Conscious Contact podcast. My name is Genay, and I'm here with my co-host Susan. And today we're going to talk about decorating. And I had a thought right before we started recording. And this is like not something I want to dive into because this is just very a surface level thought. Decorating, specifically for holidays, is the nicest form of manipulation and attempted control of someone's feelings that I think exists. And what I mean by that is you are dressing up your house or cozying it up for whatever holiday in an attempt to hopefully make people feel warm or welcome, or depending on where you're at in your head, impressed, but just festive. You want them to feel, if you're a festive holiday person, how you feel. And that's the outward expression of that most of the time.
So are you saying that as people's intention going into decorating?
I think that is a very in the back of the head, probably not conscious at all thought process. But as I was thinking about it, like, that is definitely, like, decorating is partially for me. Like, most of the time it's just for me. I wish that were different, but we don't have a dining room table. Right. So I can't really, like, have a lot of people over for a dinner.
Cornucopia.
No, unfortunately not. That's done at other people's places. So when I invite people over, I mean, it's mostly going to be you and Luke and maybe 2 other people that will see the inside of my house for the holidays.
Yeah.
But in an ideal world, it would be tons of people all the time. And my goal with the decorating is, like, for it to look nice. But I do really just want to be able to give my joy of the holidays to other people. And I have good motives in that, so I'm not worried about it. But as I was thinking before the episode, it is like a little bit of a manipulation, like wanting them to feel how I want them to feel.
Yeah.
I'm just going to give you my joy and you're going to like it,
I think there could be some truth in that, but I also think that, and this might be more for our hospitality conversation, that you're setting a vibe.
Exactly.
In
That's
your
the sunny side.
environment.
Yeah, that is the more prevalent side.
Yes, that is the sunny side. Yes.
And I don't think I've never felt it drift into negative. But I've also never had someone come over to my house and be like, oh my God, you really love the holidays, don't you? Like, one, I don't have people like that in my life because, like, how dare you? But I've never felt affronted if someone didn't feel how I wanted them to feel upon seeing my decorations.
Yeah.
So I've never felt the negative side of that. See previous episode about managing expectations.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's definitely the sunny part of that. I'm wanting to foster that feeling in general.
Well, talk me through the origin of how you decorate for the holidays.
I mean,
how did you grow up with it? What were your experiences growing up, and how's it morphed as you have gone from living in someone's house to living in your own spaces? Yeah,
I mention her in like every episode around the holidays. My Aunt Karen, I mean, she is just a baller when it comes to that. She has always been so good at just like home decorating, period. But specifically, we are an over-the-top family. So like, if you are not down for that, you're going to have a weird time if you come over. Because we're, just for example, so Thanksgiving will have just passed when this episode goes out. And we do Thanksgiving at her place, which is always decked out in fall decor and beautifulness. And then the Saturday, so yesterday when you're listening to this, if it goes live when you're listening, we had an the movie Elf themed party.
Oh, fun.
And everyone has dressed up.
Oh.
And this is not a spoiler because it's going to go up afterwards, but I'm going to dress up as the Narwhal. Yes.
Good luck with your dad, buddy.
Oh my God. Yes. Yes. So I'm very excited about that. And like
Pictures
I've seen,
or it didn't happen.
Dude, I will have to send them to you because we definitely document. And she'll have like Harry Potter parties where there's, things hanging from the ceiling and magic happening everywhere and owls. And I mean, it's
Wow.
full on. My cousin, when she graduated from college, we had the show Friends theme party. So there was all the
Yeah.
food from the show and the coffee shop was set up. And
Oh, that's fun.
and she in particular, I just participate right now, just does it to the nines. And it brings me so much joy because, like, my mom, I think, yeah, we probably put up a tree and had some decorations,
Mm-hmm.
but it was not. My memories of like holiday decor and decorating and all of that do not come from my own household. Like, those are
Uh-huh.
none of my memories. I have one Christmas where I think I was living with my dad, or maybe I was just visiting him for Christmas. I was pretty young, probably like 10, 11. And my little brother was very little. And I think my uncle was living with us, or either we were at his house or something. And then my two cousins were there. And there was a Christmas tree with tinsel on it. And I remember that tree very vividly.
Mm-hmm.
But that was really it as far as like in my own home. It's
Mm-hmm.
always been my Aunt Karen. And like that is just aspirational,
Yeah.
And when we move, I have very big plans. And she has multiple Christmas trees and they have different themes. And I am about that life. And I've already
Mm-hmm.
told her I'm stealing that.
Yeah.
And I've picked out what trees I want for where in the new house. And I'm like, just,
My sister does the
chewing on
same
that.
thing.
I love
Yeah.
it. I
Yeah.
love it so much. And it's not just frivolous stuff. Like it might be at my grandmother's house this year, but we have one tree where it's our family memories tree and it's nothing but big
Mm.
photo ornaments
Oh,
of
that's neat.
everyone in our lineage going back to like my great 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 grandparents. And they're all
Yeah.
over the tree and it's so awesome.
Wow.
And she's
That is
just
cool.
always fostered. And again, this is for the hospitality episode as well, but with her decorating, she has just always fostered that cozy joy, like little kid on Christmas morning feeling with
Mm-hmm.
how beautiful and over the top in the absolute best way possible
Yeah.
for everything. Like, that's so amazing. And it just gets me giddy, and our whole family celebrates
Mm-hmm.
and really like commits and wears the outfits and the costumes, and we'll have the
Yeah.
faux foam snowball fights and
Huh.
eat spaghetti with maple syrup, and like we're doing it.
Yeah.
And it's just so fun.
So walk me through, and I don't know if you'd feel comfortable posting pictures of how your home is currently decorated.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I think it's great. I noticed even at Halloween, like it wasn't like orange threw up in your house.
Yes, yeah.
It had, like, how I think of it is like there's Halloween peeking out from places you don't
Yeah.
necessarily expect, and it's
Yeah.
so fun to see.
I like that a lot.
So, and if you feel comfortable, talk us through this start to finish. So
Yeah.
when you're decorating, and we'll use this particular holiday, or if you want to go back to Halloween, that's fine. Setting up brings you joy because you're talking about living in it
Yes.
is very joyful, and then the taking down of it. Talk
Yeah.
me through all these logistics.
Yeah, the setting up of it is always fun. I try to do like little vignettes of stuff,
Yeah.
like little places where there's like a set of 3 or 5 items
Mhm.
or whatever, 'cause the odd numbers
So
look more
take it back
pleasant.
even further. You store all this stuff in bins.
Yes.
So do the bins like come out and sit there for a while before you start to do that? And you're like, oh, I got to unpack the bins. Or how
Yeah,
does
so
that even go?
sometimes it depends on the year and how motivated I am. Like now, the tree is up, but it's not fluffed and decorated, and the box of ornaments is in front of the tree, and that'll happen this weekend.
Mhm.
And then I've got 2 boxes that need to go up because all the decorations are already taken out of them, and they're going to go up until the first when we take them back down, so I can put everything back in them.
Mhm.
But most of the time, I do try to like get it out and get everything at least on the pool table, and
Mhm.
then I can decorate later and get the boxes out of there. But yeah, they're all stored in boxes. This year is kind of a different year because hopefully we'll be moving next year, next Christmas, Hanukkah time, or soon after that. So I'm kind of getting rid of stuff I know I'm not going to take with me or no longer serves me or whatever.
Mhm.
So I did a lot of that, like cleaning and
Yeah.
rediscovering, but like taking out pieces I forgot I had. Like all the little, like I have some ceramic and wood, like vaguely tree shaped items.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot I had those.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, that's so cute.
Yeah, that's the part of decorating that I really enjoy is the discovering the things I forgot in, 1 year, which
Yes.
makes me a little nervous. But so I interrupted what you were saying though, but between the end of Christmas will end after Hanukkah does, then you leave it up till January 1st, then you take it
Yeah,
down.
yeah. So Hanukkah is moves. So all the Jewish holidays they move. Sometimes Hanukkah is starts at the end of November. Sometimes it starts in January. This year it's pretty close to Christmas. It's like right before it, I think. I need to look at the calendar. But I decorate for both of those if they coincide. And
Mm-hmm.
if not, I will either put the Hanukkah up first and then the Christmas, or take Christmas down, put the Hanukkah up, just depending on where they fall.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a lot of, just again, because I love holidays. Why not both? One, Luke is not Jewish, so why would I like
Right.
suddenly deprive him of a Christmas tree when we've had one for the other,
Yeah.
8 years that we had been together before I converted? And you know, it is a lot of, again, going back to the managing expectations thing. I have had some people ask me, because I'm involved in a couple different groups with some people who are Jewish, and they'll ask me like, "Oh, you have a tree?" Or they'll be very shocked. Or
Mm,
my mahjong people will come over the first year that we did it around Christmas, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't think you'd have a tree." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, the more the merrier. I think it's amazing. Like I
yeah.
celebrated Christmas the entirety of my life, so I don't see, it's not a religious connotation for me. Like Christmas has nothing to do with
Right.
religion for me, like
Yeah.
most like most people.
Yeah.
Um so it doesn't rub me the wrong way to still celebrate that, because it was never tied to anything other than Santa.
Mm-hmm.
Who is very real, by the way. If
Mm-hmm.
there's any tiny person listening. But yeah, it's like incorporating the Hanukkah into it and trying to feel like suss out what the true nature of that holiday is, along with Christmas. And again, shifting from consumerism and here's what you should do and here's what Hallmark
Mm,
says it should be. And if it's not, then you're failing at life.
yeah.
And moving into, how can I foster the feelings of togetherness that I'm looking for
Mm-hmm.
during that time of year? And how can I like showcase what the real meaning of it is? And
Yeah.
that's kind of why I like to decorate the way that I do. We were talking about this when you first got here, and my theme, and I will put pictures in because the tree will be decorated by the time this goes up. It's more like not plastic Christmas, but like wood and ceramic and metal Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not going to make any sense if you don't look at the pictures, but it's like rustic, like very rustic,
Right.
and less so you're going to have to rebuy this every year because it's going to break
Right.
or it's going to fade in the sun,
Yeah.
or, whatever. Cause I do, in part of this decorating conversation, I do kind of want to talk about that too. Like the Target dollar spot when you walk in.
Love it.
I love it too, but try to buy stuff that's metal or wood from that area.
Great.
Cause oof, the level of tiny things to buy to give you that hit of endorphins
Yeah. Yeah, I do
is
not stop
treacherous.
there. And there have been times when my husband's like pulls me away from there.
It's like
But I do
shiny.
love it.
Yeah,
And it's $1 and now it's $3 and now it's
mm,
$5.
mhm. They know what they're doing.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
do.
it is
Target marketing, be a
mental.
sponsor.
Yeah,
We're
right.
we're both going to Target today.
Yes. It is again that manipulation, it gives you
Right.
the vapors. It gives you the, oh, Christmas. I need it, you know.
Yes. So this really is a great launch into how I feel about decorating is I want that feeling of a decorated house. I don't enjoy most of the decorating and the undecorating.
Yeah, the undecorating I'm not a huge fan of either. That makes me sad and it's tedious.
Yes. Um, so I'll say more about undecorating in a second. So decorating though, I really enjoy putting up the tree and unpacking all the ornaments.
Mhm.
And we generally do it the weekend after Thanksgiving because we get a real tree, and then it
Ah,
goes out the door very shortly after Christmas because my husband's tired of laying
it's
on the
gonna be
floor
dead.
trying
Yeah.
to water it. Um, and now that our kids are young adults and not living in our house, we try to make sure we let them know when we're going to do it. We'd love for them to pick the tree with us and put the ornaments up.
Yeah.
And my job, see previous managing expectations, is if they're not there, that's okay. I
Mhm.
can still have those feelings of nostalgia putting the ornaments on the tree.
Yeah.
Now the ornaments are on the tree and I've got a couple little knickknacks. I love the look of swag over the
Yes.
doorways and down the railings. And
Yes.
the place we get our Christmas tree, we also purchase swag that, that's the remnants off and they wire it all together. And so we get real
Ah.
swag and it smells so good.
Oh, yes.
I don't want to put it up. Like we get halfway through the swag and I'm like, oh, this sucks. I just want to be done. I don't like the feeling of I just want to be done with this decorating.
Yeah, that's where I try to, because I can get there too, especially if it's like I'm not in the right headspace.
Talk more about that because that's
Yeah.
my beef with decorating and why I keep it super small. It's
Yeah.
mostly downstairs because I get tired of it.
Yeah, yeah. I turn on holiday traditions on Sirius XM, which is all the old like 50s, 60s
Yep.
Christmas songs. And I am blasting that. And I, light the fall candles and plug in the balsam, whatever. And that's why I immediately put up the tree and plug it in. Even if
Yes.
it's not fluffed and the bulbs or the baubles aren't on, that sets the vibe for me. I'll turn on the fireplace. I'll get in a comfortable outfit. I'll put on the slippers. I'll,
Mhm.
whatever. I have to, like, I just force myself into that mindset. The other thing that I like to do, because I normally decorate at night, I don't know how it is for you.
Yep.
I will make sure dinner's already cooked or in the slow cooker, and there's a dessert waiting on me.
Right.
Some kind of holiday treat is
Yeah.
awaiting me at the end of this.
Yeah.
And truly fighting against that feeling, because again, that has just taken me out of the whole experience, because this is 1 month. Well, for me too, because I put it up at the beginning of
Sure.
November. This is a very short amount of time in my year,
Mhm.
and the years start going real fast. And this year
Yeah.
especially was just like poof, and it's gone.
That's a great mindset shift that we're setting the scene for ourselves because it doesn't even have to be about other people.
Yeah.
Um that I'm doing this for tomorrow, Sue.
Mhm.
Today, today Sue can set that up.
Yeah.
And we do something similar with the food for a couple years, several probably. We made a big tray of nachos because it's something you can just pick up and eat, go hang an ornament, whatever.
Yeah.
But then again, when the kids got older, it turns out they don't like nachos. It's like, oh man, these poor kids.
Maybe it needs to be a cheese tray or
Well, no, what we
charcuterie
started
board.
doing is they get whatever takeout they want on our
Ooh.
credit card,
Mhm.
and they might pick something up for us, or we might have something different. Charcuterie board
Yeah.
is a big hit. Everybody just gets what they want.
Yes.
Just come eat and hang out and put your janky old macrame tree on the Christmas tree.
Yeah, like that's the whole point.
Connecting, yeah, that's where I was going. Sorry, is that I missed it. Is connecting with what matters.
Mhm. And it's your family being together that matters for you, like
Yes.
fostering, even if it's just you and your husband, like that special
Yes.
time together that won't look like this any other time of the year.
Yeah.
Like that one night or 2 nights that you're decorating, you don't get
Mhm.
that any other time of the year. And
Right.
just trying to make that as special as possible to get out of my rumble
Yeah.
way, because I don't get that back. Like I don't get
Mhm.
this again. I don't get
Yep.
to take the decorations down again for another year.
Yeah.
Like I do try, and it's not like I succeed at that every time or most of the time. But even if it's just for like 5 minutes that I can shift that
Mhm.
mindset and reframe it and just be present and take a deep breath and stare at a Christmas bulb, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
what makes it worth it, and just coming back to like reconnecting with why do I even want to put them up in the first place? Why do I care
Yes.
enough to do this? And I think smell is a big thing that gets left out in decorating a lot. And I think having some form of real something, I love your idea because we don't do a real tree, but I think a real swag would be great.
Mhm.
And this is something that I do closer, like into December, is drying out oranges in the oven to make a
Yeah.
garland out of that.
Mhm.
Ooh, that's
That's
just, I
nice.
mean, you're just sitting in the kitchen waiting. It smells good. And,
Yep.
or putting the frickin' cinnamon broom from Trader Joe's in your house somewhere.
Mhm.
Potpourri is still very acceptable in my book. All the
Yeah.
cinnamon.
And there's something and you'll probably know the ratios and what you put in it, but like orange peel, cinnamon, and something that you simmer on the
Clove.
stove. Clove.
Yeah.
That's
Oh.
what it is. Yep.
Yes. All of the spiced everything. So, like, my
Right.
menus just go spiced everything. Like,
Yeah.
yesterday, I made a spiced pork loin in the slow cooker, and just the smell, and it was with
Oh.
apples and apple butter, too. Oh, so it's just all the smells, and it's just simmering away for 5.5 hours. And and I'm eating it by myself because Luke hadn't gotten up yet. I had tried to wake him up, but he had not awoken. And
I
I'm
can't
eating
believe those
it,
smells didn't wake him up. That's
right?
my problem with the slow cooker is
Mm.
I want to eat lunch or dinner at like 3 o'clock.
Yes, and I'm peeking at him like, "No, that meat is raw still, damn it."
Right.
But it was so good, and it just reminds me of, like, I can add this joy
Mhm.
whenever I want, Like, I've got a whole thing of cinnamon sticks.
Yeah.
If I just want to feel like the ooh, I turn on the lights on the tree and I smell a cinnamon stick, and I mean, that's
Yeah.
it, and my day is made if I just stay in that spot or, like, buy the good apple butter.
Mhm.
Buy, make the French toast with all the spices, like,
Yeah. So you're
oh,
saying considering not just what we see, but what we
yes.
hear, smell, taste as part of decorating as
Do
well.
yes, whatever you're putting your hand to, because I think it goes broader than that, like, seeing a jar of holiday cookies in the kitchen. I mean, that's
Mhm.
decor. That's
Yeah.
and that's taste, and that's nostalgia. And my mom's side of the family, I have not made it myself yet. If I host Christmas by myself for like Luke's family once we move, I will definitely be making it.
Mhm.
Because I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about why keeping traditions is so important, and
Mm.
doing things that your family might have been doing for 20 years, even if you didn't do it growing up, like asking your family, hey, what did you do with your grandparents when you were
Yeah.
young, and bringing that back. My mom's side of the family makes rock candy, and
Mm.
it smells phenomenal because, it's like peppermint and
Yeah.
wintermint and like all of that
And
stuff.
cooking sugar, sign me up.
Oh my gosh. And it's
Mhm.
food coloring, and it's bright red and green and clear and blue, and
Aw.
and it's so good. My aunt normally cooks that. One of my aunts normally cooks that. My grandmother's the one that started it, I think.
Mhm.
And then we'll just have these huge jars and bags of rock candy everywhere for the whole season.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, it's just sugar, it's not something that's particularly involved or crazy or whatever.
It's pretty sugar.
It is. And if we don't have it, it would feel weird.
Yes, and I wanna say something about that because when the kids were little, we were able to buy them more presents because kid presents are cheaper
Yeah.
than teen and young adult presents.
Yeah.
Yeah, spoiler alert if no one knew that. Um, and I love the look of a full underneath the tree, like
Yeah.
gift wrapped packages
And
under
I
the
saw
tree.
you already wrapped gifts, and I'm like, "Whoa, Susan, you are killing it." Because I have a list of things, but I've not even
Mhm.
bought anything yet.
Yeah. Now the gifts that I'm making, a lot of them aren't started yet, so those, aren't wrapped. But since the kids are older, there are very few packages under the tree.
Yeah.
And so, you know what I did? I took the Amazon boxes from what was shipped to us and I wrapped them up, and they're in variety of colors or butcher paper with bright,
Yeah. Love butcher paper.
and then I can just bring them out and there's tons already wrapped up. So there are years where I haven't been this far ahead and we haven't wrapped. It was just in time wrapping,
Mm-hmm.
which is gift bag, shunk, and then we're out the
Yes.
door. But I always have presents under my tree. That's what I like.
Yeah.
From a lot of years when my sister's kids were younger, she would wrap up all the holiday books. And so that's what they had under the tree, from Thanksgiving on until, because, again, with little kids, they will unwrap the gifts that you often put under the tree, or your pets will.
Yeah.
So she had books, and then they could unwrap one each day. So, the kids had something to unwrap. And so I guess what I'm suggesting is figure out what means something to each of us and the why behind that. Because I've got a lot of unmet expectations because I don't decorate as well as my mom and my sister do or did. And I feel like I should. But it brings me zero joy and it brings me a lot of anxiety. My mom has had, I don't know how to say this. We still have them even though she's passed away. Dozens of those miniature houses like Village 56 and all the Christmas houses.
Yeah.
And she would put them all out on this table at Christmas, and then she would have like fake snow. And then she has the corresponding mice figurines, not by the same maker, but that's what we would gift her, is all these mice of different sizes and whatever.
Yeah.
It's magnificent. And I don't want any part of it. It just doesn't suit me because she would fiddle with it. I want to look at it. I want her to tell me about it. I want her to point out what was new, who's new in the village, the annex my dad set up for her once it expanded into a second table.
Nice. Yeah, yeah.
But I don't want to put that up.
Yeah, and that's completely valid.
Yeah, I felt a lot of guilt for a long time, and we moved dozens and dozens of boxes and bins to my dad's new house.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're going to end up doing with them, but that is not what works for me.
Yeah.
But it is the paring down and finding what works for me is what has made me less resentful about the idea of decorating.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. And I think, again, like, you have to balance nostalgia with what you actually care about. Like, is it just nostalgia, or do you actually care?
Yeah. Yep.
And it could be that, like, maybe, and this is the thing that's kind of makes it more broad. If it's not something that you particularly, like, you have nostalgia for, but you don't care to do, it might be a niece or a nephew's turn to take it.
That's right.
And they might have really big memories of seeing that and just, wide-eyed joy. And they might want to take on that mantle.
Yep.
And that's kind of how it's been on my mom's side of the family. Like, some of them took some of my, like, great grandmother's stuff, and other ones didn't particularly want that specific thing, or my grandma was cleaning out one of the houses and things got shuffled around and she's like, hey, who wants this? Hey, who wants that? And some people had really big memories with certain items and some people didn't. And, it just kind of got dispersed throughout.
Yeah.
Like the legacy kind of moving down.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a such thing as not for me.
Yes.
And there's also such thing as this isn't the right season.
Yeah.
Because there are some things that I just won't get out because it is a bridge too far for this year.
Yeah.
And we may not get rid of my mom's houses and mice for a long, long time.
Yeah.
I can't bring myself to get rid of him right now. And
No,
my dad can't either. And that's okay. We'll keep moving them as many times as we need to until everybody's ready. And when someone's ready, it might be a niece or a nephew. Yeah. It might be someone that marries into one of our families, my sister's family or my,
Yeah.
You just don't know. And so it just might be a not right now. Not for me or not right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to see how the decorations come together.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same. I do kind of like stick to the same thing. I like knowing where things are going to go. I
Yep.
like to shop with different areas in mind. Like, oh, I feel like this
Mm.
area needs something. So I'll
Yeah.
write it on a list. And then when I'm at Home Goods or whatever, I'll intentionally look for that thing. Or what I've kind of become obsessed with is looking for vintage stuff and going to the antique store and seeing what they have. Because
Yeah.
if it's still around, it's probably made pretty well.
Right.
And because that's my issue. I don't want to buy I don't want to have to buy new things every year because that's annoying and wasteful. But I have like certain particular vintage things that if I see it, I know I'm going to buy it because I want one.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to be the right one. And I'm not going to buy one just because I see it if it's not right, yada, yada. Like the big ceramic Christmas trees with the little plastic light bulbs that go. I love those. Nobody in my family ever had one when I was growing up.
Oh, really?
No,
that was
nobody
the
at all.
end table decoration for
Yeah,
us.
nobody that I remember, and we don't have one around in the family, so I don't think that we did because it would still be being passed around.
Yeah.
But I love them.
Uh-huh.
Like I have nostalgia for that, and I did not have that.
Yeah.
So I want one of those, but it's got to be the right one, and it doesn't need to be $300. They're like very popular right now.
Oh, really?
So the antique stores, all the sellers are like, oh, I can make a shit ton of money.
Ellie, if you're listening, we need to remember this and decide if we're ready to let them go. Girl, 300?
They're so expensive. Like even the smaller ones, it's at least $100.
Huh.
If they're working, like if they're in good condition, ooh. But if you want to let some go, please let me know.
I will.
Because I love them.
You know a gal that wants it, huh?
Oh, yeah, I know somebody. I got you. But yeah, I've seen huge ones that are like this freaking big.
Really?
Yes. Like it's a whole, and there are people that are obsessed with them more than I am, and they get crazy.
Well, you might want to check out Reconsidered Goods and anybody that is local to Greensboro or just the surrounding area. Their Christmas stuff has been out for about a month.
Yeah.
But new things come in all the time.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I love that place.
Yeah. And I was talking to somebody that works there, and she said like half of the floor is Christmas.
Nice.
So the timing might be right.
And the other part of decorating that I think you'll be on board with too, all of like the holiday craft projects, that's decor. Like it's going to be out. You know what I mean? If you're working on it, that's decor. You know? And then the finished product can be decor for a little while.
Yes.
While it's waiting to be wrapped or whatever, or if it's yours.
Yep.
I'm thinking about making aprons this year because I have like a vintagey pattern with like Rick Rack and all. Like I'm gonna go super full on cheesy Christmas patterned fabric, like novelty print stuff.
Yeah, like a ugly Christmas sweater meets aprons.
Kind of, but like vintage. Like less 90s, more 50s. Yeah. And I really want to do that. I'm just trying to like, do I have the brain space and the motivation for that this year?
Yeah.
Or is that a next year?
Those are a bigger undertaking than you're going to think.
Yes.
My grandmother-in-law did that for the kids one year. Everybody got an apron. And she put like tools in the boys and like the girls was more for cooking. And then it was fun to see that generation like start to swap and which girls wanted the tools. Yeah. But it took them a long time.
Yeah. It's a lot of pieces.
Yeah. So when you're talking about crafts, one of the things that my mom did, and this is where my love of cross stitching comes in, she did the mice at Christmas cross stitch projects, and it would take her a whole year to do them.
Yeah.
And they're probably 16 by 16, I think. But then there is a series of 5 of them that she would do like in the car when she was going to basketball games, or they would come visit me in college, and it was a 5-hour trip each way. And she would work on it at night while we watched TV, and she would press them and then mat and frame them. And my dad gave them to me, and they were up in my house for the first time last year. And then what we do is we've got photos that are up, and this can be my contribution to the holiday decorating.
There you go.
We have photos up for the different seasons during the regular year, and then in our dining room, and then I put up the cross stitch mice for the holidays. And when she died, there was one that was halfway finished that I dug out of her cross stitch bag. It was like in the back of the closet and it was all like in a ball. So I wonder if she got frustrated and was like, ah!
Yeah.
But I was able to press it and reconstruct it and finish it. And that one stays up all year long. It's Christmas, but, it's tucked away in a room that really just the family goes to. The UPS man doesn't see it and be like, oh, are they hoarders? Why
What
is
is
Christmas
this?
still up?
Yeah.
But I just like having that remembrance all year long. And then there are special ones that she did that come out just at Christmas.
Yeah.
But then I do want to touch on the putting away, because I don't consider the putting away to be decorating.
No, yeah.
I consider how I reframe it for myself to make it palatable is I'm organizing it all to be put away.
Yes.
So I really engage that organization, spring cleaning and ness of it. And there is something that just makes me a little giddy about us dragging that tree out.
Yeah. I get to drag mine out this year, Segway.
Yeah.
Because we're going to get a new one next year. This one's already the lights. Some of them don't work anymore. So I do get to have that joy.
Yes.
It's either going to go for bulk trash pickup and someone can come take it if they want. I'm going to offer it to friends if you want a Christmas tree that's kind of janky, but if you want a
or the
Christmas
Greensboro
tree.
buy-sell trade, the freebie,
just
whatever
come
it's called.
get it, please, God. Yes. So I'm excited about that. Continue.
Yeah. Well, what makes me a little sad is when the dog then drags a Christmas tree back into the yard, and then we have to put it back into the natural area.
Gosh.
And then she drags it. She thinks this is a super fun game. She's like, finally, I get to play with the giant tree you bring in.
You have to videotape that because that sounds amazing. See, like, reframing.
I know. And then and you can picture, like, we usually get about an 8-foot tree, and my husband and I were both around 6 feet tall, so we can wrangle it, but it's a wrangling. And the needles are dropping, and we're trying not to bang into things, and then the dog's like jumping up, like, I want to help. I'm the branch manager.
She is. She's the executive branch manager.
Yeah, well. So I try to reframe the undecorated.
Yeah, it is an organizing. Yeah, and I try to do the Marie Kondo thing, and like say thank you for bringing me so much joy this year, and like I'm not gonna see you again for a year. You're gonna live on the ceiling in my garage, Goodbye.
Bundle up, it's chilly.
Yes, like it is that reframing because anything can be hard and tedious.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do it, and then you need to ask yourself, well, why don't I want to do this? And why am I being a shithead when I can just enjoy my life if I want to? Like some people would be happy to have this problem. And I do try to go back to that, not to make a martyr of myself or to make myself think that my problems aren't big enough to worry about, because that's not true. But if I'm throwing myself a pity party, or if I'm, walking around, metaphorically stomping my feet like a toddler, if I can be like, some people don't get to celebrate because they can't monetarily.
Right.
Some people don't have a home to go to for Christmas. Some people don't have a table that's waiting for them for Thanksgiving. Some people don't have family. Some people, again, not to go into the complete opposite direction and freak out and try to change the world, or don't deal with my own problems because they're too small to worry about. But to pull myself into the gray, why am I so just disconnected and ungrateful sometimes?
Yeah.
And it's easy to slip into that because you just lose focus. We're all human, and it's like, I'm annoyed. Everything else goes out the window. I'm not connected with anything.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that I don't want to do this right now.
Right. So connecting with what is right in front of you can help make that shift. And for me, remembering that the bins in front of me as I'm decorating, that swag, I will be so grateful that I did connect with what's in front of me when yesterday, future Sue, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, that's like exercise or eating a vegetable. Like you don't get the fruits of that labor until later.
Pun intended.
Yes. 100%. Yeah. You don't get to have that right now.
Yeah.
You're not going to like it right now. but tomorrow you is going to like it a lot.
Yep. And what can you do to make the unliking a little bit more palatable, brought into that gray area of connecting with where you are right now?
Be present with it and like remember why you're doing it to begin with. I mean, that's the whole tomorrow me will love this joy that I get when I wake up and it's there.
Yep.
And just especially this time of year, reframing your mind to think about other people, think about future you, and try to connect with that. And I think the bigger part of decorating too, and I kind of touched on that already, if you know somebody that doesn't have somewhere to go or doesn't have that family tradition for whatever reason, like if you can offer them a seat at the table. I have no table, so I can't do that. I can take them leftovers or invite them over to chill.
Well, it's a different flavor of a seat at the table.
100%. But or just reaching out to them and saying, hey, I know this is a hard time of year for you. I want you to know you're welcome anytime, or, whatever.
Yeah.
Just the offering of the thing, or trying to bring more people in that might not have that accessible to them, or it might be harder for them to get in touch with that.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe they've had a loss in the family recently, and it's just not something that they don't feel like this time of year is okay for them. Offering that up and saying, I know how you feel. If you want to come, awesome. If you don't, you want me to leave you alone, I can do that too.
Yeah. Any last thoughts on decorating before we wrap up?
No, just do it.
This is where I wish Instagram thread could take pictures in it, because I would love to start a thread on Instagram of everybody's decorating pictures, but here we are.
Yeah.
But we will post ours. And so we'd love it if everyone would come check it out.
We'll create a little carousel so you can swipe through.
Yes. That sounds fantastic. But let us know what your decorating vibe is. We'll start a thread with those photos, but let us know about your vibe. If you post the pictures, just connect with us on social media or send us an email, let us know, and we come take a look at your photos as well.
Yeah.
It's neat to see how there's a different flavor for everybody.
Yeah. And comment your traditions.
Yes.
Because I think those are so fascinating.
I do too. I do too.
And if you like it, if you don't like it, and you're over it, and why it started, who started it.
Yeah.
Did this come over if your family immigrated, or is this something that you created with your immediate family, which is even more interesting to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know what your traditions are, or what you're trying to have be traditions.
Yes. Yeah. And you can find me. This is Susan. I am at sustainable_Sue on Instagram, or you can check out other ways to reach me at sustainablesue.com.
Yes. And if you're watching the video version of this, you don't need this link. But if you're listening and you want to see us, you can go to youtube.com/@consciouscontact podcast. And I am at Genay Peavey on Instagram. And you can drop us a line about traditions or send us your photos on any of those, because we will see them all and reshare them with your permission. Obviously, we'll make sure you're all right with that. But yeah, what is your moment of joy?
This feels a little shallow, but I'm going to go there anyway, because it's TV. I do love TV and just pop culture in general. I'm watching The Crown. I also love the royal family. As problematic as everything with the royal family is, they're also human beings.
Yes.
And
that did not ask for this.
Yeah. Like literally Elizabeth was not supposed to be the monarch.
Ever. Yep.
Yeah. But I do love the fact that
she did it anyway.
The throne was abdicated over love. And anyway, so the new season of The Crown is out. And the only thing I love better than a season that drops all at once is a companion podcast that goes with that. And I especially love The Crown because they have a, it's not a fact checker, historian, research. There's a producer that is specifically into the research area of it. So she gets on the to make sure it's as accurate as it can be with TV.
Yeah.
And then she gets on the podcast every single episode and tells you about okay, what is the real story about Windsor Castle catching fire? What is the real story about the person that broke into her bedchamber,
Yeah.
etc.?
Ooh. Yeah.
Super creepy. And then what is fun is I have a cousin that lives in London. And so we have a
Oh my
Zoom with
gosh.
some of our family members every week. So we ask him for the international correspondent take
Uh-huh,
on,
uh-huh.
this thing or that thing, whether it's happening in real time. Like he walked the route of the funeral
Oh
procession.
my
Yeah,
gosh.
like the days leading up to it when all those people were in the 5 mile line and,
Yeah.
he sends us pictures of that stuff. But I just love all of that. My sister's super into it. So we talk about it and
Yeah. I
it
love
brings me an
that.
extraordinary amount of joy.
That is what matters. I love that. And I think that ties into this episode because that's tradition, like, and
It
that's
does.
like a family on show and the
Yeah.
intricacies of
There's
that.
jack shit about decorating, but I love the sets.
Oh, yeah. The sets are amazing.
Is that my cheapened segue?
There you go. Yeah. No, those are intense. And the research that had to go into that is probably amazing.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
What about you?
Mine, I think, is just getting prepared for this. And I kind of said that on the last episode, but more specifically, I have got like vintage style Christmas cards that I'm going to send out.
Oh,
And
nice.
I need to pick up my Hanukkah cards because I do, again, taking that time to pause and remember what this is all about and like writing someone a personalized instead of just Merry Christmas and signing the bottom.
Yeah.
Like writing someone a personalized thing, going and buying the holiday stamps and, writing their name as good as I can with my handwriting on the envelope.
Your way of connecting with these people from afar.
Yeah. And my aunt, me and her have written back and forth a couple of times. Like we do pretty good with that. But most people don't, like I'll get holiday cards from other people. But most people, I don't have like a mail correspondence with.
Yeah.
But it's so fun to me to like put them all in the mailbox and put the flag up and then wait for them to go on their merry way. And then people start texting me, because that's how you respond to, I got your card or a picture of it
And
on their
getting them
card
back.
collection. Yeah.
Getting
Yeah.
cards back.
Yeah. I think that's just really cool. And I love that old vestige of what we used to do, more traditional kind of stuff. Because we were more connected. We feel more connected now because we have the internet, but we're not. And I feel like we were much more connected with the people around us then. And we had to be much more intentional about connecting with people. Or you just didn't talk to them. Like if you didn't write a letter to someone, you didn't talk to them if they didn't live close to you.
Right.
Like, period.
Yeah.
And I think there's something to be said for that. And it makes me happy to be able to sit in that moment that it takes me to write their card and think about them.
Yeah.
And
nice.
that's all the cozy things.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, I look forward to the photos and
Yes.
hearing about everyone else's traditions. This has been a great conversation. Thank you.
See you next time.